Hey everybody, back, and I'm doing a miniature review today of the miniatures in the Dungeon Command box, or I guess you should say, faction pack, called Blood of Gruumish, I think is the pronunciation. And this is put out by Dungeons & Dragons Wizard of the Coast. Reason that I purchased this is that, and I'll go into this in a bit, I've never played this game before. I don't know anything about this game. My understanding is that it's a bit of a combination of Dungeons & Dragons and Magic, in that there's no dice, you're using cards, and it uses elements from both games. I've heard people say that on YouTube reviews. What I got this for is that you can use some of the characters from this set, or the miniatures. They give you cards to use within the Dungeons and Dragons adventure game. And so that would include the Castle Ravenloft, the Wrath of Ashardalon, which I've done a video on prior, and the, I think it's called Legend of Drizzt. And so the idea that you can actually use the miniatures from these games, and they're not expansions of that game per se, but in some ways they are, because you're able to use them for dual purposes, I think is a really excellent component of these releases. Really, you're getting double your bang for your buck if you play both of those games. But really, my channel is more about my painting of miniatures, and so even though I don't know anything about this game, I'll talk a little bit about what it says comes in the box and a little bit about the game, but really what I'm primarily here to do is to get close-up shots and comment on the quality of the miniatures in the set, in the context of being able to use them in either this game or another game. So with that, I will open this up. This is actually sealed right now. Okay. So on the back of the box, it does show the game itself here. It comes with 4 cardboard tiles. It comes with leader cards, which are used for this game itself. The game with this faction pack, you're supposed to be able to use a faction pack in the game, and so it's all you need to play the game. But my understanding is you also can mix and match figures and create your own factions as well. This one here appears to be an orc theme, and so there's lots of orcs in it. And the contents that it has is a rulebook. I'll just share it here. I'll read real quick. Rulebook, commander cards, 36 order cards, 4 interlocking die-cut battlefield tiles, 12 monster cards designed for use in the D&D Adventure System board games, and that's what I was referring to before, the game that I'm looking at using these for. 12 non-random pre-painted plastic miniatures, 2 large and 10 medium. Some of the other sets I believe had 1 large, 1 small, and then the rest medium, and so they went with 2 larger ones on this one. They belong to the Orc faction along with 1 creature card per miniature, and then it lists all of them. And I'll just kind of pull the game open, and we can look at them rather than. And so it actually comes as a bit of a box set. You can actually open this here, and it looks like you can reclose it, so you can store this as a faction. Okay, comes with the rule book. Okay, it doesn't look too long, which if I decided to play the other game, that's not a bad thing. Here it's just showing some of the other sets this comes with. So you've got your cards, your leader cards. I don't know if leader is the right term, but that's what it looks like. Looks like 2 of those guys there. Now here are your tiles. Now, from watching other videos, my understanding is that they have both an outdoor tile and an indoor tile. I'm not a board game I guess, connoisseur. You know, like I wouldn't compare games to other games. But the surface of this is actually pretty nice. It looks like it would wear pretty well. It is definitely just cardboard, you know, on the side here. You know, it's not coated on the sides, but I would actually say that the print detail is actually nice. And it is, it looks like it would wear well. It has actually a texture to it. So it looks like it's been coated. So now, the box itself has actually spots to put things. Underneath, I believe, are the tokens and things for the game that you have to pop out. But this is a nice little set in the sense that you can store your cards and the things that you need for the game in convenient little spots here on the top. So you've got your cards here. That's a thick amount of cards. And I've not obviously not opened any of this yet. So on to the piece as to why I actually am making this video, and that's the miniatures. Just going to lower my tripod here. I'm just going to pull these out one at a time and look at them. And so starting, these guys appear to be the same. And it looks as if these are Orc Druid. One of the things I did notice when looking at other YouTube videos of this set is that nobody seemed to have really something good just showing the miniatures up close, which I know a lot of people recognize that's kind of what they liked the most about it. Even people said that, but I just found either the camera quality, just nothing was just really that good. So I'm attempting here, and I apologize if I don't, to show these up really close so they can be seen. People can determine whether they like these or not. I actually am very impressed. I'm looking over the camera to just see if I can get a good view, and I'll be honest, the quality is really, really good for pre-painted miniatures. I think for plastic pre-painted miniatures, it doesn't, in my opinion, get that much better than this. I mean, I'm actually used to HeroClix, WizKids, which make a variety of things. Their quality is really across the board, in my opinion. From figure to set, from genre to genre, it varies quite a bit. These are much better than what I'm used to in those sets of various kinds. So I'd have to say I'm pretty happy. As you all know, I like to paint my own, and I got these to be able to just have sculpts that I won't even be able to get on my own to paint. If I was really hardcore, I could just strip one of these down and paint it myself. But I actually won't do that most likely. I think these actually look really good. I would get one if they actually released it as plain plastic so I could paint it. But I'm actually happy with these. They look really good. And so I might actually, for those who've been watching my channel, the orcs that I'm going to be doing in the Ashardalon, I'll probably be trying to paint complementary color scheme at the minimum, just so they look okay next to these guys. So these are, again, the Orc Druid. Moving on. I won't spend as long on some of the other orcs just because they do seem to share, you know, like they're being made to be compatible. But these are the orc archers, I believe. Again, now they look very different than the orc archers from the Ashardalon set. They look better. I mean, at first glance, the actual bashers that I showed in the other video looked really good to me. These guys have a bit more of a cartoon look, where the other guys look maybe a bit more classic style sculpt to me. These archers definitely look better, the sculpt, than the other archers, for sure. And I would say the paint job is similar to the other one that I just showed. Actually, in looking at this here, looking up close, I'm wondering whether they may have missed a spot here on the paint right there. And I'm being really particular here, unless that's supposed to be like a leather strap coming out of the hair, and that is possible. But all in all, I'm like squinting at a gnat here. You know, I'm being really particular. So again, if you look here at the arm, you can see brown on the muscle, like right below the shoulder pad there. So I do think there are some minor imperfections. You'd really have to look close, because those are like in shaded, shadowed areas. I guess, like I said before, for pre-painted miniatures, I think they look really good. And so, and the actual sculpts themselves are great. Okay, I'm going to go just in order, my own weird order here. I'm just going from bottom to top, left to right, and that puts me at the giant of one of the giants of the set. So this is the Ogre, and see if I can get in any closer here. I don't think anybody's really gotten in this close on the videos that I'd seen of this guy. And so, really good. I think they did a great job. I think the sculpt is really cool. Almost could be like a cave troll in Lord of the Rings. It's like, but it looks like a great ogre. And I'm just going to put him next to one of the others just to show the size difference of these giants. You know, this is an orc he's not small like compared to some of the other humanoid figures. He's kind of wide and beefy. Next to this guy, definitely less beefy. And so I think he looks good. I'm going to get a close-up of the face here, as close as I can get. Coming to get you. Okay. Yeah, it looks good, I think. Tell me what you guys think. I think it's quite a nice model. Alright, so next one. This is a little boar. Say little, he's not really that little, but... So, oh, sorry, I know I'm getting my hands in the way there, but there you go. It's a nice dynamic pose. It looks pretty good. Actually, I like the way his legs coming off the base, and he's kind of got his head turned. I think it's a really nice sculpt, to be honest. And definitely has some different colors in there. You know, despite it being brown, it's got some nice grays and the hair, like the long tufts of hair and coming off him. So, looks good. Next one is the other large miniature. This is the owl bear. Okay. He's a nice size. He's definitely a big creature here. He's looking down so much so that it is a bit hard to see his face. Now I think this is maybe the best angle. I've heard some people on another channel complain about this model, the coloration and just what it looks like. Yeah, like, to be honest, I actually like the model, like the sculpt itself. It's really a nice sculpt. I don't know what an owl bear like should look like. Like, I played D&D years ago and I know what it is. I guess maybe the light coloration mixed with the dark, somebody may not have liked that. I actually think it's a good model. The only thing I would, and it's a good sculpt, the only unfortunate piece is just that because he's positioned looking down so much, and really I'm showing you this up close, but if you were looking from above, you'd be seeing less than you're seeing now of his face and things. You literally have to pull him up and go like that, like almost perpendicular upward to see his face, and I think probably that is the biggest problem. They made it such an interesting sculpt that you actually can't see what he looks like from underneath, you know, from above. but I would not be upset about using this. Like, I actually think it's a very cool sculpt. So that's my opinion. You know, they used a wide variety of browns. The only thing is, looking from the bottom, there's some major contrast, you know, on the feathers. I don't know how they manufactured it, whether it was automated or manual, but it looks like almost like a dry brush with then a glossy coat over all of it. And, you know, just took some lighter color and splashed it around, but I think it looks good. So that's my ruling. Thumbs up still. Okay, next one is the Were Boar. So I think it's so cool that you have a Were Boar, because I remember all the different lichens, you know, like in D&D, but you know, these guys never really stood out to me, and I would never expect to get one of these. Maybe it's just me coming back to the hobby or to D&D after a while, but I think it's really cool that they chose to give a Were Boar, and having the boar in the set is really cool too. You know, I think it looks good. It matches the coloration of the orcs, you know, like, not, and it shouldn't have to, you know, because it is a Were Boar. I'm just going to pull this guy next to him just for show here. I like the color, the way they use the color on the shirt on the back. It makes him stand out just a little bit differently. But yeah, you know, like, it's a nice sculpt. I mean, like, they've really done well with these. Okay. This pose just looks really cool. So this is the Orc Chieftain. And so a little more of the, I'm going to pull out just a bit here just to show a little more of the same in the colorations. Although this guy has some plate mail, like, it looks like plate mail to me, on the top, and it's a nice silver coloration, wearing a cool helmet. It looks, his pose is just really neat. So they really, for these new sculpts, I mean, they just really have some nice nice poses. Great job. Just looking in a bit closer here, mind you, everybody, this is the first time I've looked at these, so I've not really inspected these heavily. This is really my first glance, and I'm just looking here just at the color on the green on the legs, and it almost looks like he has plate mail on his lower half too, in addition to his upper half, but it's green like his skin. And so I'm just trying to get a better look here. I wonder whether that really should be that way. It's almost like he's got, you know, like his arms and hands and stuff green, but then his like body arm is like the same color as skin should be, when it should be like a metal color. So I don't know. That's first glance what I'm looking at. I really like the sculpt. I really like the pose, and I like the colors. I wonder whether they could have did a bit of a better job there. Yeah. The separation between the colors and the different things on the model might have a bit of some flaws there. Okay, this guy is an Orc Barbarian. I love the sculpt. Look at him screaming there. It's just so animated. These look great. The orcs here in this set actually remind me of Warcraft, or both Warcraft and Warhammer. Whereas the classical orcs that I referenced earlier in the other models, looking a bit more humanoid than these guys, a little bit less cartoonish. I like the cartoonish look. Like I'm fine with either, you know. But I recognize it's a bit of a difference, and I actually like it. I think it looks really good. There's a lot of different colors here. I'm going to just, unfortunately, this is another one where they are looking down, and so it's hard for you to see the model without me, in a good angle, without me lifting it up for you and saying them there. Now, I'll hold the base as best as I can so I can just sort of show it here. So there he is. I like on the metal that there's some nice shading that's going on. You know, it's not one-dimensional. Like, that's one thing I would say about these paint jobs. I mean, where they've done it well, it's actually showing, you know, two-dimensional painting with the shading and highlighting, which isn't always the case in these models, in miniatures pre-painted. Looking here for anything that just sort of stands out as off, like the previous one that I just looked at, and I don't see anything like firsthand. I have to look closer, but everything looks to be pretty much where it should be. And he's a great looking model. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay, this guy is the Orc Cleric of Grush. So he seems to be a thematic model to this set. I'll just put him down here. I'll zoom out first. Okay. So far, so good. I'll keep repeating myself, but I really like the sculpt. I like this sort of mane he has for hair. I don't know if that's fur that he has around his neck or that's his hair, because it's actually orange, or a red. I'm not used to that on an orc. It looks to be that color. But I like him with his helmet there. He's got some really nice armor, and it's really shaded well. The shield really has a nice patina on it. The detail is just really nice on this model and the paint job. They appear to be fur boots, and so I don't have any problems with the way they colored that. Yeah, this one just seems to hit the mark on the painting really well. It's great. Okay, last one. And okay, they all came out pretty good out of the box, which is a good sign for being able to put them back in and taking them out, using this as a bit of a chest. So this one is the Orc Druid. I've been away from D&D for a little bit. I suppose I should not question an Orc Druid, but it just didn't seem. It's nothing. I never would have guessed it, an Orc being a Druid, and so actually somebody could comment and correct me on that. It's just sort of interesting to me. Just don't think of the orcs usually as being very nature focused. So a little bit of that cartoon look again. I really like this totem staff that he has. It looks really cool. It's huge. I mean, granted the guy's hands are huge, but I'm just going to spin him around like I have been. I'll pan out just a little bit. So he has this fur. It must have been fur. It went from the guy's helmet though in the last one. It's this reddish color. Looks really nice. He's kneeling in this sculpt, and so it's like he's getting ready to cast a spell of some kind, or pray, or something like that, and it looks great. I'll zoom in a bit. And a tilt so you can see with the light here. Really great job. So, just looking here, it seems to be a general green sculpt on the bottom half. with a little bit of brown on the belt, and the shoe is painted a different color. It's not nothing glaringly wrong here. Like, I don't see armor that is just green that looks out of place. Like, it looks like it's just clothing. And so nothing seems to be out of place. The detail in here you can see is painted on the skulls. Somebody could argue that maybe this bracelet he's wearing shouldn't be the same color as this. Oh, it's a bracer. Sorry, that probably is right. So yeah, you know, this one, another one, I think looks really good. The sculpt looks great. No complaints. So that's the last one. I'll show you just real quick though, if you're interested, the two large sculpts. This is the size of the owlbear next to the troll. So fairly large, both of them. I mean, he's a bit sprawling out, a bit more stretching out, where he's a bit more condensed in his sculpt. And here are some of the other models, you know, in comparison in size. So all in all, I think it's a really nice addition for the other game that I'd like to play. And so that's why I got it, and I plan on most likely getting the other sets, particularly after seeing these sculpts. I'll be interested in people's comments if they have this set as well, what they think of it, the sculpts compared to the other sets. I'm also interested in people's comments that play this game, because I don't play it, and I'm interested just to see what people's thoughts are on that. But as everyone knows, I've said that this is, I'm primarily using it to combine with Wrath of a Chardalon and Castle Ravenloft to be able to insert these guys into those adventures. Now, I'm not in the habit of doing a lot of reviews on this channel, and really this is limited to the miniatures, just, you know, themselves. I do have a number of different lines of miniatures that I'm familiar with, so when I compare them, that's how I was comparing them, just based on other experience. One thing I'll talk about is, I guess, value, and it is hard for me to talk about the value of the set when I don't play the game, and so I'm happy to hear people's comments, but just from the expectation that there is a game that you play with this, you know, and people enjoy it, and it's a good game, I'll just assume that. I paid $40 for this, and so I got 12 miniatures and the starting booklet, and, you know, the few cardboard tiles and the cards for $40. That's 40 Canadian. That's not cheap for what you get. So I wouldn't say this is a huge value, you know, for the money. I counterbalance that with the fact that the miniatures look really good. Wizard of the Coast provided the cards so you can use them in 2 games, not just this game but also the other game. So I find that really, really helpful on the value scale. And so when I you know, if I rated, you know, either, let's say, poor, fair, good, awesome on value, I'm kind of hovering between fair and good, with maybe more towards fair. Would I get another set of these quality miniatures for $40? Yeah, not next week. I don't want to actually buy one of these every week to get caught up, but I would likely pick another one up because I like these miniatures. Would I do it if they were a lot of repeat sculpts? Excuse me. At $40, probably not. Maybe not. I noticed that on a couple of them, they have a fair number of repeat sculpts, and I might avoid that. Because in the end, you know, I'm just looking to get just variety in the other game, and that doesn't help. And so I hope they continue to release sets now that are primarily new sculpts like this one. So I'm happy in that regard. And so I go with kind of fair. I'm also comparing this to other things. I might even go good. I guess the reason is, if I compare, like, Warhammer, the value on this is very high. The sculpts in Warhammer are great. They don't come painted usually, almost ever, I think. They're primarily, you know, it's about you painting them, but the models are really expensive, and that's not with all the game and components that you get with it. And so from that perspective, it's very good. if I compare it to the D&D adventure game, or games that I referenced earlier, there you're getting 30 to 40 miniatures and a lot more game. And I paid $66. And so the extra $26 was not the difference. I mean, like, at this sort of ratio, that game should have cost me over $100. If I was comparing the two, apples to apples. So, it's obviously for you to decide the value on this and whether it's good, and particularly I think if I was really into the game already, like I could see people, and I don't know how often they release these things, I could see people really being interested and waiting for another set to come along, or another faction pack. And so there you go. That's my review of the miniatures. I hope, if nothing else, people like the close-ups of the miniatures, just to see some of the detail maybe before they buy it. But I'm interested in everyone's thoughts on these faction packs and these miniatures. Take care, everybody.